This is Tommy. Tommy is what some might call a DIYer, but he doesn't know where to start. Should he get the azaleas or the Bradford pears? That's right, Tommy, you never get Bradford pears. How does Tommy know this? Is it deep instinctual knowledge? Or was it gleaned from two wise and learned masters of the yard and home? Let us consult the book of heavy metal home improvement for the answers. Live from the Green Room Studios on the spacious property of Bates Nursery and Garden Center at 3810 Whites Creek Pike. It's the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates.
Settle down, settle down, settle down. I know you all are excited this morning. I mean, it's a little chilly inside the studio, but other than that, everything's going to be okay. So, oh my goodness gracious me. Saturday morning, David Bates.
Morning, Josh.
And,
morning, Michael.
And we're here for you. I mean, it's a Saturday morning tradition.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
Josh, one day you'll learn.
Well, this electronical stuff.
But
here.
it'll only be one.
Yeah, only one. Yeah.
He's talking to me.
Hey, can we go back to input one, please, again?
Yes,
Tyler?
why not?
Because
It's the At Home Show.
It is the At Home Show.
Yes,
and,
it is.
With Tommy here visiting with us briefly this morning, and we're pretty glad everyone has joined us this morning and are be a part of what we've got going on here. We hope to bring you a show that has maybe equal parts enlightenment and entertainment. It may be 60-40. I don't know which way.
70-30 would be better.
Likely, and I don't know which way the 70 and which way will be the 30, but we are going to
That's all.
I think it depends on the minute.
It does, and we're going to start off right now talking about the weather. And today, of course, is Saturday, the 3rd of April, and hopefully the last morning that we're going to have these consecutive days of freezes. 65 for the high today, and sunshine. 38 overnight. Now, in outlying areas such as where Bates Nursery is located, we will likely have frost again in the morning, but it will be a frost, not a freeze. Sunday, things are warming up nicer again. 72 degrees, 44 for the low. Monday, 76, 53, and mostly sunny. Tuesday, partly cloudy, 77, 57.
57.
And, 77, 61 with more clouds on Wednesday. Then we get some rain on Thursday. Then it looks like things are improving again by the end of the week. But the main thing is the temperatures are staying up where we like for them to be this time of year. And I don't see anything for the extended forecast that would look otherwise. So we're grateful for that. And currently it is 28 degrees here still in Music City. So it is warming up, but the sun is up over the horizon, so it will warm up rather quickly.
Well, that freeze warning expired 2 minutes ago.
Yes.
I mean, it's over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it has to be done.
Yes, I didn't check it's 38 actually, not 28. So I didn't update my browser. So anyway, there you are.
I didn't turn my sound off. So,
hey, Josh is the auxiliary sound effects. It's the
who's that guy in Police Academy that could do that?
What is his name? He also was in Spaceballs.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He is a human. But
it's not Stevenson because he can do that.
Almost any sound effects machine. He's amazing. But anyway, Michael.
We have all these computers in front of us.
Yeah, I can't Google and talk at the same time.
I'll do it. Hold on.
but we're here for you, folks. It's Saturday morning, so we got to come.
Michael,
to
the old
we're
producer Google.
We're on a 30-second mental delay here. Not
We've dialed it back a little bit.
Wasn't Winslow the last name of the family in Family Matters too? Carl Winslow?
No, I don't know that.
I think it was.
It was a great tight end.
Yes.
You gonna make me Google again?
Yeah,
Kellen.
because I was
Kellen
doing it,
Winslow.
and then you just had to jump ahead of me. But whatever.
Hey.
No,
It's all
this is a
good.
team effort.
By the way, this is an interaction.
It
We're
is.
not just here doing what we're doing, which is apparently just bantering around here, we actually talk about landscaping, home improvement.
We have lots of banter.
And
it's what makes us so appealing, David.
We invite you into our little soiree here this morning on Saturday morning, 615-499-6690. We're also going to have our very own Cary Gant on a little later on. She's going to be talking tropicals. So if you've got questions about tropicals or what things you can or should be doing right now, obviously if you planted annual flowers and tomato plants and peppers and all the warm season vegetables, as we have discussed nearly ad nauseum, you were premature, and unless you really well, you're going to be almost certainly planting them again. Now, so that people can understand, it's more than just a air temperature issue. It's a soil temperature issue. And when you have warm season vegetables, they need to have soil temperature that's at least 60 degrees, preferably more like 65. So when you have these cool nights and cool days, I mean, yesterday it barely reached 50 degrees.
And lots of rain. And
yes, it's, we've had little chance for the soil to really warm up. So we're happy to be able to provide plants like that for you, but we really try to repeatedly remind folks that
we'll have some next week. We're going to have some more next week. That's okay.
If you need to plant again, we'll have them. So.
Do you sell 800 thread count sheets over there in the showroom?
No, we actually don't use Egyptian cotton to cover our plants with. We use these
silk.
We don't use silk either, although both are viable choices. It's just that in the nursery setting, getting sheets of the that size are a little tough. That's a little big. That's
a double king. Was that be that?
I don't think even a double king would even work for that. Would
it be a fitted sheet or a flat sheet though?
It would have to be a flat sheet.
Okay.
A fitted sheet would work if you had one like maybe 40 by 50 feet would be just right.
That's a big bed.
That's a big bed, but we have big beds of plants out here. And if you have been out to Bates Nursery over the last few days, we look very much in disarray. And we've got many of our most tender things have been moved onto racks and inside. Everything else has been, apart from the conifers, have been bunched up tight together, and we have double covered them first with a white frost cloth and then with a tarp over that. So right now, as we speak, they are removing the blue tarps
over the top of the frost cloth.
Off the top of the frost cloth.
Everybody listen with both ears.
Yes.
Both ears.
And
the tarp is not directly on the plant material.
Correct. And I want to give a shout out to Meryl Rose of Talk of the Town and thank her for and Tawanda for having me on this past week in Leland. It was great being on.
Was he in the area?
Pardon me?
Leland. I love the way he says area.
Area, yes.
Area.
He was. And now, so I was fortunate.
They're gonna come on our show now, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I would love for them to. And I talked with Tawanda the other day. I'm brought that up, so I'm hopeful that maybe she can swing that. I don't know if there are contractual things that prohibit that. I'm not sure.
We could simulcast. It's not that big of a deal.
Well, no, but it's exactly what Tyler and I have done on a couple of occasions.
I know that they're on the air.
We're simulcasting right now.
The
multiple Facebook pages.
So we can do.
So anyway, she was kind enough to have me on. We talked about a great many of these things that I have talked about in my newsletter repeatedly over the last few weeks. And
you were doing some predictions this week, though.
I did. I was going Nostradamus on everybody, and but it's really doesn't take much to make such predictions when you've seen it happen over and over and over again, nearly annually in the spring. Sometimes repeatedly.
When was the Easter Bunny Clipper? That was 2008.
Now that's the part I can't remember.
Okay.
I think I'm better at the future than I am in the past at this stage of the game. I'm about as accurate, I would say.
Is there anybody at the table who has small children, David Bates?
I've got one.
Are you preparing your Easter Bunny trap?
Oh, my Easter Bunny trap?
Yes. Have you because you carrots?
No, I've got a snare made out of razor wire.
Oh well.
Okay.
You're thinking on Hassenpfeffer for for Easter dinner then, right?
Yeah.
With capers?
We're gonna some stewed rabbit, some stewed mad crab.
You got to catch him first. Now, those of you
been
who
known to be elusive.
through the entire time of the at-home show.
My little boy though, he's told me constantly for the past week. We got one of his friends this Jurassic World pterodactyl toy. He picked it out for him, and I'm not ashamed to admit that he got me. We were in Walmart. He's like, we'll get that for Jonah. That's for Jonah. Yeah, it's for Jonah. The moment we get home, that's mine. So I'm like, no, that's for Jonah. I was like, if you're good,
Jonah is his buddy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, if you're good, maybe one might show up in your Easter basket. So ever since, and he walks up and he goes, "Da, you know that bunny's going to drop that pterodactyl off," and I went, "That's an odd image in my head, but yeah, I guess so." So I said, "We'll see if you're good."
I like the way he thinks, though.
Well, but I mean, through these years, he has eluded me significantly. I mean, we went all out in the early days of the at-home show. I mean, we had a 118-foot driveway. We had different stations set up.
And never once caught the Easter bunny?
Well, I mean, I snuck back into the house to go to the restroom real quick, and the rascal spread to all those
Just
eggs.
that quick.
I mean, he's amazing.
Just that quick. Well,
now what are you going to, what kind of bait are you putting over there by the trap? And how many do you have?
Well, I've got two because there's only really two entryways for him to get into the house.
You think?
Yeah. I know for a fact
He uses Santa's key sometimes.
He likes Coca-Cola.
He does.
He does, and he likes an odd thing.
Together?
Yes.
Coca-Cola and Chewy Chips Ahoy.
Well, the carrot mystery. I mean, that's never. No, that's just an urban legend. He doesn't eat carrots. I mean, at least not the raw variety. I mean,
you ever notice that? Maybe this is just me, but they have these multicolored carrots. Why do they taste better? There's no difference in the taste, but they visually they look so appealing that they just taste better when they're cooked. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because they're being grown in a good organic type of soil.
Okay.
Could be something like Earth Mix.
It could be.
Yeah, and we'll talk for a moment about Earth Mix garden products.
He likes capers too. Can you grow?
We know you can grow and what you're likely to grow, and that's going to be your garden. And no matter where you are in Middle Tennessee, you're going to be able to find Earth Mix garden products. A lot of great folks around town are carrying the product and getting great results out of it. Out in Rutherford County area, Martin's Garden Center, for instance.
Awesome place.
If you go out in Bellevue area, more and more out on the west side of town, Flower Mart, and there's a whole host of others. If you want to find out Cary's Earth Mix in your area, simply go to the earthmix.net, click on the Find Earth Mix tab, and when you click on that, a map will come up and it'll show you all the little pins all over Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, and also up into Indiana, and also over in Ohio. So check out all those and more locations coming regularly. So check that out at earthmix.net. And also want to take a moment and talk about all of the many uses for Earth Mix. It's not just a gardening soil for your vegetable garden. You could use it in the ground to plant shrubs. Earth Mix Landscape is a great amendment for that purpose. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for compost to add to your garden, Supernatural compost by Earth Mix is the clear choice. It's a tremendous product. And of course, we're going to be talking with Cary Gant here a little later on. She'll be talking about use organics I and O with respect to your tropicals, either whether you're indoors or outdoors. So remember this, success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products, and we appreciate you giving us a moment here to discuss that. But
what?
I hear we've got a special guest that's come online to join us.
Really?
If I'll let him talk, he does.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. He's extra special because he's got to go incognito. the one thing that keeps somebody.
I understand that he does quite the extensive Easter bunny trapping
Is that right?
down there in Petersburg, Tennessee.
I heard your Easter Bunny takes Braves tickets.
Oh.
No. It's a good thing, right? You leave Braves tickets out.
I did.
Well, won't be any All-Star game tickets this year.
That's true. But now, Yard Boy has joined us here on the At Home Show.
By the way, good morning,
Good
sir.
morning to you, sir. And
Hey, how you doing up there, David? You're over
I'm
here.
good. No, yeah.
with the
He's moved you up now. Now you're on par with Josh. And
Point
I.
to your right.
point to my right.
No, I'm talking
Now
to.
you're over here.
He's right there. He's
Okay.
right there. Yeah.
No, that's Josh,
That is me.
and then there's David over there. Hey, David.
Yeah, you got to hold your hand closer to your head. We can't see your arm. Yeah, you point like that.
But
Okay.
But with the Yard of the Month sign there in certain residences in Petersburg, Tennessee, do you have room for your Easter Bunny trap again this year? I mean, I know it's been out there for 189 months in a row now, Corey.
So, yeah, 173.
It's 173.
don't
Okay.
But yeah, there's always room for the Easter Bunny trap.
Now,
Absolutely.
have you ever been successful in catching bunny? And I've missed him every year. I don't know whether I'm not using the right bait, whether it be bacon or smoked sausage would probably work, wouldn't it, David?
He's liable to catch a big old fat rat like me in there if you put that Smith Farms sausage in there.
Now, because you really don't need the
I
Easter
haven't
bunny.
been successful. Yeah, I haven't been successful in catching the actual Easter bunny, but I will say, the other day I was mowing grass and I almost hit a rabbit with a lawnmower.
Ooh.
But luckily he got out of the way and ran out in the street and got run over by a car.
Oh,
Well, he probably chose the lesser of two evils in that instance.
well,
Yeah, something like
you
that.
got to hope that at least some other rabbits were observing and learned from.
Squirrels never do.
The smart squirrels use the phone wires to cross the street. The
Yes.
smart squirrels do. They're the ones that are, and there's plenty of them around.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you really don't need the Easter bunny there in Petersburg because you have the storm possum, and he identifies
That's
as the
right.
Easter bunny, doesn't he? Or he did this year in particular because
Yes,
he had quite a successful
this year,
giveaway.
storm possum. He did. He gave away about $175 in Visa gift cards the other day. So
Woo.
he had those hidden all around town. And I tell you what, we've got some sharp people down there because inside of 12 hours they had found them just based off of some very obscure pictures of where they were hidden around town.
These are obviously the employees at City Hall.
No. These are some of our fine residents
Oh,
there
okay.
in the greater metropolitan downtown business district.
They could be aldermen if they really wanted to, though, couldn't they?
They could be, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any of them got records or felony records or anywhere on their the winners, that is.
Not that I'm aware of, but sometimes that does look better on a resume when you're applying to be an alderman if you've got a felony conviction or 6 on your record.
I understand.
Okay, let's go. What you do in your day job,
What's that?
and I want to talk a minute about now I see all this equipment behind you there. You obviously they don't call you the yard boy for nothing. I'm sure you've been out and about.
No, they call me a lot of other things.
Well, yeah, but yard boy's that's one of the more flattering things. I see you've got quite the lineup of equipment. I see a Skag mower right there behind you.
Oh, he's a Skag kind of guy.
Yeah, a couple of Skags on here. Matter of fact, just added that one right there about 2 weeks ago.
Now, is that of
Little
course
36-inch.
now, is that a-
some
is that-
Narrogates.
is
Now,
that
have
a
you
walk?
tamed-
Is that
yeah.
a walk behind that you have a sulky that you stand on, or is that or do you just walk straight
Yes,
out?
It's it's a hydro walk behind, and I just installed that swivel wheel sulky on the back of it yesterday. And you have the option, you can ride behind it, or you can flip it up
Right.
and walk behind it. And also, I don't know if you can see it here or not, but there's a little Toro Time Master there
Uh-huh.
that I use for some places. I've been using that for several years now, but where I really don't want to walk all that much, especially when it's 95 degrees outside. So
Right.
Or 40.
got a good deal on this little Skag walk behind, and picked it up a couple of weeks ago.
Now, was that on the Adventures with Yard Boy YouTube channel with your training method on that new?
It is.
It is? Okay. I mean,
No, that particular training video is not on there, but it's on my personal Facebook page with me. And I have a feeling you'll probably be sharing that out at some point there, Josh Cary,
it
because
could
it was
show up somewhere along the way. But he had quite the. It's one of those newfangled toys, and you have to learn your equipment so you don't make a mistake out on a customer.
Well, I mean, but it's good to have things well documented. You want to be able to look back and reflect fondly on those memories, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
it's amazing what those security cameras pick up on when you forget that they're back there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now, you're in your travels. Have you noticed any particular blossom or tree or something that you've really particularly noticed is doing well this spring? Or weeds, for that lack of.
Well, I've seen a lot of those.
Don't say
Yeah.
it. Don't use those words.
I've seen a lot of those white blossoms on trees.
But they didn't last as long this year
But,
as they have
they got
last.
blown away.
Darn it.
Yeah, we had some storms that came through.
No,
and
I
got
think the
those out of
tornadoes
the way.
took care of those.
Well, excellent. Let's talk for just a moment.
I'm looking at a.
You're looking at a blank.
I'm looking at a little tulip tree here at my shop.
Yes.
I'm not too sure the frost may not have kind of gotten
Well,
hit. The
they
last couple
are-
of nights.
they
It's kind of
They are quite
looking a little
susceptible.
wilted from where I'm at.
They're quite susceptible to it, and given how early they flower, they'll get hit more often than not by late frost and freezes. Let me ask you this, Yard Boy. Let's talk about here. Let's talk about the Smith Farms, the wonderful sausage and meat products that you do over there. It's great stuff. Now, what if people who are interested in procuring those? What do they got to do?
Head over to www.ineedbacon.com.
Yes, sir.
And while you're there, at the top of the page, you'll see a link where you can sign up for our email newsletter.
Yep.
And that'll save you 30% off your first order of bacon right there off the top.
And then periodically you get a coupon if you're a customer too, if you sign up there as well.
Well, I could
Every now and then you'll get a coupon sent out.
And advice when the products are in stock and ready to roll.
He's the official bacon supplier of the At Home
It's
Show.
all cured meats.
Oh, yeah.
The all cured meats.
Great stuff. Well, Yard Boy, we appreciate you coming on this morning and imparting the usual depth of wisdom that you broadcast widely, and we appreciate you including us into your net of wisdom today.
It's his
That
world.
depth of wisdom has got the arm floaties on in the shallow end of the gene pool.
There you go.
Oh, the kiddie pool. All righty, Yard Boy. And look for those videos out there on the Adventures with Yard Boy. I mean, after you subscribe to the At Home Show, or vice versa, you go to Adventures with the Yard Boy is something that you should probably enjoy. And you will enjoy them, I
It's
promise.
the kind of thing that you expect to get when you're not expecting
anything.
Yeah. You can go, wow, I did not expect that. I did not expect that. So anyway, thank you, Yard Boy, for being on today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy.
You too, man.
All right, 615-499-6690. Now, you can call us at that number and leave a voicemail, or you can text us at that number. You can also go to the At Home Show, Josh Cary and David Bates' Facebook page.
Facebook page.
We ask also that you share that out there.
Yes, and hit that stinking bell.
You can also go and see us out on our YouTube channel, where you can share us there as well. Hit that bell also, and help get the word out there. We're trying to impart some information and have a little fun along the way, and your participation is very much appreciated.
Yes, it is.
I think it's about time that we go to the demonstration end of our studio. Michael, are you Tyler, are you good
The
with that?
performance end of the
performance
end of the studio.
And the performance we have going on today is by our very own Cary Gant. And Cary, good morning. We're glad to see you down there today.
Good morning.
And we can't help but notice that with the number of plants coming in around Bates Nursery these days, and we're anticipating this really huge shipment at the very first of the week. Tropicals are front and center, and everybody is really all enthused and excited
They're
about
ready
it.
for them. Yeah, we're getting a huge shipment in next week of all of our ferns, Boston, Kimberly, Villa. It's going to be a really exciting week.
And also all of the other things such as mandevilla and hibiscus and all those other tropical flowering plants. So, we're getting close to the time where people are going to want to put those out. Now, we may still be a little early. It's probably not too early to procure, but it may be a little bit early to go outside with them yet. So you may need to be watching the weather. And as we like to say, our average last frost date is April 15th. If you were watching at the top of the hour, you saw the forecast we put out there. There's no sign of any frost in the foreseeable future. Maybe we're done, but you can't be sure of that till we get a little bit later on.
You never know. I wait until Mother's Day to plant all of my summer vegetables.
Well, and
really put things out.
And there's no penalty that you pay. Many times you don't gain anything by planting early because the soil, as we mentioned earlier, is still cool. And until you get the soil warmed up, these warm weather plants really don't engage and start growing. So you also deal, Cary, with all of the many different have around the nursery.
Oh yes, all the pots, containers, and house plants. So you can make some beautiful mixed containers with what we have right now and what we have coming in. And as we have on this table, you can see some more full sun, part sun plants to my right.
Right.
We see our cannas, the hibiscus that we mentioned earlier, which again, we're going to get a tons of different colors. Some will be blooming, some won't be yet. Always good to get the ones that aren't blooming yet, because then you'll have a few weeks of flowers and be off. What's on my left are more shade plants, ferns, caladium, begonia, if you can see that little pink guy in there. Ooh, pretty. Available, plus we're getting more in every week.
Actually, I was having a chat with our very own Julie Patterson this morning about incoming shipments this week, and she was a little concerned about where we're going to put all this stuff. And I said,
it's not your problem.
I said,
right? It's not my problem. That's up to you.
I said, if it's too much, just put it on me, because I really want to make sure, and Julie, of course, does such a wonderful job as we have all these great plants. And then Cary and her co-workers really do a great job of making sure that they're out there in well-presented fashion. You deal a lot, Cary, also with all of the many, and I do say many, sizes, styles, colors of containers for decorative planting that people can use either in the house or out on the patio or on their back deck or wherever they want to use it.
Really okay to use it on the balcony too?
On a balcony, wherever, on your roof, in the middle of your driveway, if you want an obstacle to go around. I mean, we have so many different kinds.
You can just you just kind of push the bunny towards the trap.
Yeah,
with those,
that's
okay,
right.
okay.
You can use it as that. Get the Easter bunny in a big pot. I mean, we have pots that I can fit in. I've actually climbed inside of a few.
Literally, the folks, you need to come out and see the selection. I mean, we can describe it all you want to, but I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Well, and
the colors,
It
shapes.
is, and I've arranged them all.
And when she says she has arranged them all, she actually has.
She built the
I
racks.
put
I
hands
saw
on
'em.
every single piece of pottery.
Every single piece. So, I have to say, okay, we've got to get you some help. But, she is very physically fit, and she's able to do such things. I have to go, you probably should have help with that. And some of them she has.
Some of them, yeah. But I don't have to have a gym membership, so that's great.
There you go.
I get paid for working out.
That's it.
Can I ask you a question about the cannas, though?
I think that was a
Absolutely.
question.
I have seen
Right here.
those get out of hand in some people's yards.
They will. I actually have a Bengal tiger canna that I love, and I've had to dig it up early spring. Oh, they're gorgeous. And separate it because they do spread and they'll clump and get just gigantic.
And nasty looking if you don't take care of them.
Nasty looking if you don't take care of them, or if the Japanese beetles get to them, which is what happens every year.
Last week we were fortunate to have Nicholas Stadden on, and he was talking about, with regard to the Ito peonies, about planting them in a large container in the ground in case that you want to move them when you leave the house that you're living in.
Right.
You also can use planting inside of a container for other purposes, and that is to build in a constraint to keep it from
a defined space, as it were,
to keep it from growing outside of it. And the cannas are a good example of that, where you plant, say, a 5-gallon container size or smaller than that into a much larger container in the ground, so that keeps it from spreading overly much.
Do you cut the bottom out of them?
No, that defeats the purpose.
Really?
You leave the bottom in there, and you plant it in there, and it essentially constrains the root system so that
Is there a pile of those around here at the nursery somewhere that they're all in?
We do have a couple of extra containers here and there from time to time. So that's a trick. Now, a lot of people also, Cary, are they want to do some gardening. Maybe they want to have a few pepper plants or a tomato plant or two, or some other vegetable gardens, and they maybe don't have a spot in the ground that's in a sufficiently sunny area. So the use of decorative containers for vegetable gardening is also widely done as well.
Right. Yeah. You can use pretty much anything for vegetables. Their roots aren't going to go quite as deep as a perennial, or if you're doing a shrub or tree, a smaller container with those vegetables. And you can use our outdoor container mix, which is what I use, or our landscape. I've used that a lot in containers.
And you're referring to Proganics O.
Proganics O, correct.
And that, of course, is an earth mix product. You see the banner behind Cary there, and we're very happy to show that. Proganics O is your great soil that you use for your outdoor container mix. Proganics I is for the indoor plant. So if you're going to be transplanting something and leaving it indoors, that's the preferred choice for that.
It is. Proganics I use it for everything because I have so many indoor plants. Which, speaking of, we do have a webinar that I wanted to touch on real fast before I forget.
Yes.
I will be doing Summarizing Your Houseplants on Thursday, April 22nd. So we're just going to be discussing how to transition your houseplants that you want to put outside once it warms up without shocking them and potentially losing them.
Well, you need to break the news to them gently. You don't want to surprise them and just go straight outside. You need to be talking to them the days in advance and go, hey, I just want you to know I'm going to be going outside with you, so don't be shocked.
You're about to be leaving the house. You'll be okay. I'll still be here.
We're not sending you away. We're just.
What about in the fall when you got to talk them into coming back in the house?
Well, that's a whole different ball game. Bringing them back in because then they don't want to come.
Yeah, they get used to being out there and they go, no.
Is this a little elephant ear to your left there in the front?
A caladium, yeah. Oh, we have so many different varieties of these. They go pink, red, white, and green. They're gorgeous.
And one of the things you'll notice there, it's on the right side of us, Cary's left, is all of the shade plants, and then the left side, or Cary's right, is all the sun plants.
Yes.
The biggest takeaway that you'll see is that you get a lot more flowers on sun plants,
side.
But on the shade side, you have a lot of colorful foliage. So, color is color. It doesn't have to be necessarily open flowers. It can be decorative foliage and contrast in texture. And, there's a lot of great between the coleus and fern and caladiums. All those kinds of things are great shade items, and there's a lot of areas around town, or maybe it's just a side of your house that you're wanting to bring some color to. Being able to use the right
side?
thing, well, that would be more like the north, or perhaps the side of the house that maybe has shade trees on it. And I don't know from everybody's house exactly where that is. It could be any side, because trees tend to grow, I don't know if you knew this, mostly outdoors, Josh.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They do.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You learn something new every day, Josh.
There you go.
But if you were standing facing the house, it would be the opposite if you were standing facing the street.
Right, and when you address the plants, you need to make sure that you're talking to them. It's my right, but it's the plant's left.
And if you address them, you talk to them in a respectful way, right?
Well, I mean, if you want to get good performance out of them.
All right, 615-499-6690. If you got questions or you want to make a comment about what we're seeing here today, there's a lot of other stuff here, and like I say, there's a silver one that's hiding behind that green variegated one.
Seneca right here.
Yeah. Can you lift? That's a Dusty. Is that a Dusty Miller cultivar? Is that what that is? I can't.
It looks very similar to one.
It does have that beautiful silvery foliage on it. Doesn't it?
I love this. When Tyler and I saw this back in the greenhouse, we snagged it right away.
Now that is primarily an indoor plant, or is that going to be?
So if you want to keep it alive, you'll have to bring it in. So you can take it out of your container. If it's a large container, dig it up, put it in something else. Our Proganics I would suggest if you do bring it inside, because it doesn't hold as much moisture.
And the other good thing about Proganics I, it doesn't have peat in it. Proganic, we use coconut core.
Right. Okay.
And coconut core does not, it's not conductive, or it doesn't encourage, or always problematic when you have peat moss. So coconut core is a much better alternative with respect to that. And it's also a little more of a renewable resource. And it has to come from quite a ways away. So there's not like
it just floats up to the beach, man.
It's a little further. The beach is pretty far away. So, that has to be brought in from Indonesia. So it's a good little trek for it. It takes a while to get it here. You can't order it this week and get it next week. But we order those kinds of things well in advance, and that's available also in the product called Sustain, which is a sustainable peat substitute, which is just the loosened and broken up.
Now, this ship in the Suez, is that going to affect the coconut core supply in Middle Tennessee?
I would say that if you had an order of it, if you hadn't already gotten it, yes, it got backlogged a few weeks. Now, fortunately for us, we were well ahead of that. We tried to be proactive and not wait until you need something. We try to anticipate, and that's kind of the nature of bringing all the things in. In the lumber business, you can't wait until you run out. Now,
sure you can.
And
ask any contractor in Middle Tennessee. They can wait until they need it.
Before we end today, I do want to have a couple of minutes to talk to you about lumber and availability and the.
Mrs. Bates has a question too,
and the pricing associated with it. So I want to cover that.
You got to ask. You can't afford it, man.
If Renee's got a question,
yeah, she does. She has a friend. She says a friend with a home that was built in the 1930s. The windows are good, old growth wood windows, but she has a couple in need of repair and possibly will need to be replaced. Maybe. Okay, could be. And they have to look like the others too. They have to be built to look like the others.
So are there people that do repairs to older historic type construction windows, or
we used to call them painters.
Well, I mean, so they go in there and do the necessary glazing, but they actually go in there and replace pieces of the wood or that kind of thing? Or
now, there are degrees of repair, and there's no one rule about how those things go. If your sash are rotten, and to be honest with you, Renee, and your friend, if the sash itself is rotting, and in an era built in the 30s, most of those windows, even till today, are still covered with a storm window.
Right.
And now the storm window serves two purposes. Of course, it prevents heat, and what people think they do is it's heat loss and heat gain going in. But the other thing, they didn't call them energy windows. The Anderson Company called them energy panels, and there was a different kind of glazing thing, and it was blah, 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 blah. But they called them storm windows, and that was primarily to protect the house and the window product from storms.
Right.
And so,
although they certainly provide an energy saving benefit.
Absolutely. I mean, even the premium brand products still have combination.
But not necessarily the most decorative. I mean, they don't look awful, but certainly
the primary, again, David, they're not the most attractive thing when you're talking about the good old-fashioned go down to the local lumber yard, buy the silver mill finish in the standard size, modify it as your way you want to do, slap it on top of the brick mold or wherever it is that you got to do, and then fill in the bottom because it wasn't exactly the right size.
Right, yeah.
Okay. No, I agree. But a mill finish storm window in the proper setting, in the proper home, it's just a matter of taste. But
Right.
Old combination wood storm windows were used a lot. You see those in probably in your neighborhood in particular. You see those little brackets that are at the top of the windows,
Yeah.
the little round things. There were screens and combination storms that were installed in different times there. But we digress, which is not unusual for us.
No, it's not.
But if you have mutton bars, let's say they're
Okay, now what are mutton bars?
that's the little divider pieces.
So
Okay.
in this day and time, those are, and the older windows are probably actual dividers between the individual panes of glass.
Yep.
And the newer ones, they may just be a faux thing that makes it appear that
Maybe, and there are still certain markets in different places in the country that you can actually get the old putty glazed wood
and
windows.
sometimes they put them between the panes of glass in the middle, and sometimes they put them on the outside, correct?
Uh-huh.
So,
Or in a combination of all the others. You know, again, depending upon which brand you see, the simulated divided light is the ones that David is referring to, where it makes it look like an old putty glazed window or a wide button, or it didn't have to be putty glazed. You could have an OG edge to them. There were lots of different details. That's
the terms that the most of us lay people don't recognize.
So you garden guys know how it feels, huh? Okay, all right. You want to go with your japonicas and your Uranomices and your mycorrhizals and all that other stuff all the time?
We do try to give an explanation of it.
It's the
insult.
divider bars, man.
We don't insult people's intelligence.
I'm not trying to either.
You don't have to try.
No, it doesn't. It just comes off naturally. But if those are broken or they are in bad repair, that's the toughest thing to get for anybody to try to fix, because you have to replicate that wood. You have to, and it's probably more practical to do it. To answer Renee's question, there are I would call the painter first. And a good painter, a good old-fashioned guy, and not the guy that's standing out in front of Home Depot with the paintbrush. He may be okay, but it's probably not necessarily experience in these kind of things.
With any other kind of contractor, it's really a good idea to get references and maybe get multiple bids on the work if you possibly can. Unless it's somebody you know really well and have worked with a lot.
Now, and it sounds unusual, but if you go to if you ride around to your antique stores, one of the things that you see a lot outside the antique store is old window sash.
Yep.
Okay. There were lots and lots and lots and lots of the same size windows used throughout Middle Tennessee.
And that makes me think of, and I don't actually know them. I've met them in their store, but Preservation Station out on 8th Avenue that has all of these. I mean,
they're just throwing them out there. I mean,
they have such an amazing collection, just the doors they have and all that stuff. So a lot of decorating people really frequent that place, and they have wonderful selection.
Be careful with those, because lots of them had lead-based paint on them.
Right.
So, but to answer your question, yes, there are still companies that will replicate as closely as possible an old wood window.
Okay, now you've heard you mention the word wood 2 times in the last couple of minutes now, and so that brings me to what my thought process is that I've noticed that lumber's gone up quite a bit.
Really?
Yes.
Huh? Sucks for you, man.
Well. And actually, of course, lumber is not the only thing that's gone up. And there are a number of underlying factors that have caused this spike in lumber prices.
It's not going to stop either.
No, because, supply-demand issues. And demand is high, supply is low, and trucking costs are skyrocketing. And you're just trying to, the fuel surcharge line item is back in full force.
Have you seen yours already? I haven't seen that one yet. Okay.
Well, usually they just go ahead and preemptively add a 0 to the end of whatever that the freight is. It seems we bring in stock. As does Crossing from all over the country. There's things coming in. We have trucks in
couple of hemispheres, actually.
Just getting a truck at any price is difficult. And it's very challenging. Julie, who does all our green goods purchasing, that's the single biggest challenge. Number one, nursery stock is in short supply, as is lumber. And so what that what that frequently means is that you have fewer choices, and there may be things that we have to accept quality-wise that we might not otherwise.
There's nothing wrong with a wood window.
There's nothing better available. I mean, are you seeing that there are compromises as far as the top grade lumber? Is it less available than it has been, or are you having to go, well, the less than premium is really the best we can get right now? Well, that is premium.
Well, and there are two different. Again, when you're talking about structural products versus finished products, it's two different kind of categories. Particularly, what I see, David, is that there are certain codes and restrictions that you cannot use certain grades and certain things because of the way that the specs are written.
Those are all
charts.
Those are all at a local level, wherever the construction
supposedly, but I mean, again, there are general rules of thumb with span charts and what they can do and what they can't do, and how you do this and how you stack certain things, and whether it needs to be fire retardant wood or particularly if you see a lot of these tall skinnies around, they're really close together.
They're not zero lot line, but they're
0.5 lot line,
right.
But I mean, and you see there are cases where you have to do certain things. I believe this time last year, 7/16 oriented strand board or
OSB
wifer board. Mm-hmm. I believe it was trading, and I don't really look at pricing much because it is what it is. Yes. You got to have it. But I believe it was around $7.50 at retail.
And now?
$32 or $33. So that's in 12 months.
Okay, so let me ask you this: you deal in a business where you're bidding out work well in advance. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with that when you have? Do your contractors understand that, hey, this price that I gave you some months ago has changed dramatically? Or I mean, what
they're gonna have to?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you have to say, look, I'm sorry, but that price I gave you, I'm unable to honor because it cost me more than what I was going to sell it to you for.
Well, and again, most reasonable people that you have, and it's just like your business, David. If you have a relationship with an ongoing customer, they understand that you're struggling as well as they are. Okay.
Right.
We want to keep the customers happy, but you can't make everybody happy all the time, every single way. You got to go. You can service them, and make sure that the deliveries are on time. But there are certain things that are out of control because when you look at, and particularly an independent lumber yard or even a large national chain, all we're doing, and for a lot of cases, all we are is a trucking company because they tell you what they want when they want it, right. and
you're there to help provide the service of arranging all of that and getting it to the endpoint user at the time when they want it.
It is very much a commodity. Yep. So I mean, people think that even at $32 or $33 a sheet and if you ride around any job site, that stuff that's all the way around the perimeter of the house, on the roof, on the other that kind of stuff. Start multiplying that. They think everybody's getting rich off of it. No, everybody else's costs are the same. Okay. Again, we have fixed costs, but again, David mentioned fuel. How much is diesel today as opposed to 60 days or 90 days ago?
It's gone up quite a lot.
About 30% the way I'm seeing it.
Yep.
It's hard to...
And there's even some shortages of fuel beginning to show up here and there. So
I heard somebody was being tagged, and you tried to fill up the truck and it could only get $50 worth.
Only.
Well, okay, it was like a quarter of a tank from what I understand from what it is.
So you wind up having to drive from station to station if you want to get a fill up. That's incredibly difficult. But my point to all of this is that regardless of what kind of products that you are looking for, if trucking is attached to it and what isn't, that means it's going to cost more, and it means it's going to generally become more difficult. So whether you're buying lumber or you're buying landscape plants or anything else, these are all things that are tied to trucking and the constraints of being able to find the trucks available and the subsequent freight costs that are being attached to them. And
think about where your lumber and think about where the lumber mills are and your relationship to them.
What impact is the damage that occurred in Texas over the winter having on your end of impacting you guys at all? Because it's having a tremendous impact on us in the horticultural world, because all of this plant material that got destroyed in Texas, and it's sucking what was already a very low reservoir of plants way down, and it's creating a very competitive situation for trying to keep enough material in to have product to offer.
I'm only aware that of one impacted particular product line that but they've been impacted pretty well, because one plant was in Pennsylvania, another one was in Indiana, and then another one was in Texas. And Pennsylvania was really impacted with the shutdowns. Indiana, not so much, but Texas, it comes and goes and things. But then you lost a month, really. Think about it.
Like ships being backed up in the Suez Canal because of one blocking it off. It's not like you turn the switch back on.
Did you see the meme, by the way, where the beaver was saying, "Oh, the goat."
the greatest of all time.
Goat. Okay. But no, I think, and I probably should know this a little bit more, I believe there are a lot of wallboard facilities that manufacture in Texas. So it's probably everything that's coming. If you got ports, Houston is a huge port for importing. Right. They're a huge port for importing a lot of our stuff. So watch out for that Chinese drywall, though. We went through that one time.
Okay, now before we get out of here, we'll only get back to Cary for just a couple of minutes here and talk about we fortunately have this really huge shipment of tropicals coming in. The early part of, I think it's going to be here on Monday. So my advice is to wait till Tuesday before you come in to get it. I mean, because it does take a little while. These all come in packed up, they're sleeved. We have to get them unwrapped, and
it's going to take a minute to get them all.
And it takes a bunch of hands, and it takes quite a bit of time to get all that done. But what will be worth the while is a selection of things we're going to have, and so we encourage folks to, if you don't see what you're looking for today when you come out to Bates Nursery, make sure you come back and see us next week, because Cary and the entire cast of players up at the garden center are going to be working hard to make sure all that's ready to go.
Oh yeah, we've prepped it. We've cleared out half of our greenhouse up at the garden center so we can bring all those tropicals in. And Tyler back here, our social media manager, will do some updates once we do get that in.
No, but
always try to stay on top of it.
But Nicholas gave him a particular new duty. Did you polish the cherry tree bark this week like you were supposed to?
Oh, that's right.
I forgot to pencil that in between my spa appointment and my outdoor cycling.
Mani-pedi?
Yeah. Both, top and bottom.
And I want to remind everybody, our guests next week are going to be the Restless. Are going to be in
scheduled
studio
to join us.
And I'm hoping that maybe, Cary, we can get you on a Zoom remote to kind of walk the greenhouse a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. To kind of show off what we got in.
Show what we've got in. So we'll feature that next week as well, and hopefully let folks have a little more insight on what all we've got going on here. It's a lot of stuff. And it changes
daily. Show the process, though, from the time taking it off the truck. Maybe shoot a little video and edit it. If he's not polishing cherry tree stems.
Yeah, he might be busy with that. So
okay.
Well, just like the Suez Canal backing up. I got to polish my cherry trees, and then the video is going to be delayed another week.
I might need you to go find the branch stretcher too. To make the trees a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Speaking of, that's called a board stretcher.
Or side stretcher,
whatever.
As we call it.
Yeah.
Sky hooks. Mrs. Cary was particularly taken. It's a tree form, and I cannot find it. I've Googled, I've looked. There was an early blooming tree that had the most brilliant red blooms. Any clue?
Blooming tree?
It appeared to be a tree. I think I was seeing quince, but
that's what my guess would be a flowering quince. It could be quite a large one.
Yep.
It could simply appear to be a.
What about a redbud tree?
No, redbuds are more purpley, and it was a true. I wouldn't call it an Alabama crimson. It was a deeper red.
Probably is a flowering quince. And
okay. Just cut into it and pruned into a tree form?
Somebody could have done that. I can't imagine what else it would have been. There's nothing that really strikes me.
It's not a Royal Poinciana because everybody was there. They said it's got to be, but I know it's not that.
It would have bloomed early anyway, so it just about had to be a quince that someone had done some topiary work with, likely.
Gorgeous.
Hey, let me talk for just a moment, and I appreciate everyone for being here today. Talk for a minute about Bates Nursery and Garden Center and what we do here, and of course, Cary and Tyler and our entire staff here. It takes a bunch of hands to put out here what we try to do at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, where we've proudly been beautifying Nashville since 1932. My grandmother started this business 89 years ago, and we're grateful to be a part of Nashville and be a part of the local scene here in Music City, and we're continuing to bring that to you every single day. We're open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and noon until 4 on Sunday. So we invite you to come see us and check out all the many truckloads of plants we have coming in every week. And, we've talked about some of the difficulties that it is getting things in, but, despite that, we still have it rolling in. So we encourage you to come out and see us, see all the great things we've got going on, whether it's tropicals that we talked with Cary about, or if it's perennials or annuals. We've got a huge selection of all those things. I will apologize in advance. We're not very orderly looking today because we've been doing freeze protection for the last 3 nights. So as we speak, those measures are being undone. The frost cloths are being rolled up and taken off the lot and all the blocks. But it's going to be a few days process of getting everything spaced back out and looking orderly again. So we appreciate your patience in that. But rest assured, we have it here. So come on out, take your time, look around, and we'll be glad to help you find the right plant to put in the right place the first time. So that's the way we try to do it here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. We're not here to just sell you a shrub. We're here to try to help you deal with the landscape situations you've got in your unique application. And so come out and see us. We've been beautifying Nashville again since 1932. We're located 1 mile north of Briley Parkway at exit 19 on Whites Creek Pike, which is just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville, worth the drive from anywhere. And whether you live in an apartment or a condominium or you have a full estate, we've got plants, containers, and all kinds of answers to whatever challenges you've got landscape-wise. So come see us, Bates Nursery and Garden Center, and appreciate your attention on that for just a moment. Before we get out of here, we're drawing very near to the end of the program.
Speaking of answers, just want to let you know that we're working on our botanical boot camp schedule.
Yes.
Excellent. So people are going to want to go out there and check that out over at batesnursery.com, and just scroll down the main page. Near the bottom, you'll see the Bates Nursery Botanical Boot Camp area there, and we have everyone participates in that one. We have a team of experts here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center on a variety of horticultural areas. So make sure you check that out. And if you don't see something on the schedule that's coming up, make sure you check out the archives. We've covered a whole lot of different topics in the year past, and we're going to continue to do that. Those questions, by the way, come to us from you. And we try to answer the questions that you've got, that you're thinking about.
I believe we have a comment that was directed to Cary from Jude Roberts, Jude Wilder Roberts. I purchased 5 new Talavera pots for my plants, and I have absolutely cannot wait to transplant my house plants and put them outside on the deck. Love them. Can't wait to get back and hopefully get a few more. Thank you.
There you go.
Have quite a bit left. We have sold down, though, I think. Maybe half.
Talavera is,
it's popular. It's like a Mexican pottery, very colorful, really pretty.
Now we still have another whole container of pottery.
We do 2 more pottery shipments actually
that
coming
are
in.
scheduled to arrive. We just haven't seen those yet. One I think is trapped out in Long Beach. There was I think it was a hostage situation, that there was a $5,000 ransom being to the people who have brought this ship in, which our container is part of it. So I'm trusting that. I don't know. That's just what I heard.
$5,000.
So somebody had maybe somebody's going to pay that ransom. I suspect that they will, but we'll see. Yes, sir.
Going to Cheekwood for the first time this afternoon.
Oh, well, it's a great time to go. They have their big tulip. If you can't go to Holland, go to Cheekwood. This weekend's a great place to see all of the the hundreds of thousands of blooming bulbs.
They got a train out there too.
That's what Sam's excited about.
They've got windmills up so you can, just wear your wooden
They built
clogs.
really, really, really good Easter bunny traps at Cheekwood as well. I hear.
believe they catch quite a few there as well.
Okay.
That sounds good. Yeah, she bought the annual membership, so we're going to use that throughout the year.
Every year?
Well, I don't know about every year, but we got it this year.
It was an annual membership, though.
I've been out there a couple of times in the past year and I actually saw the Chihuly exhibit twice while it was going on.
Is it going?
It's already done for
Okay.
this time around, but I have no doubts it will be back. It's always a very
amazing.
spectacular event, so check it out.
All righty, folks. Music means that we've done the at home show
That
once
went by
again.
quick.
Parts of David, 4 centuries, 4 decades, 2
I'd say
millennia.
4 centuries is
It may
quite a
look like
bit.
it's been,
It feels like it some days. 2 centuries, 2 millennia, 4
easy for you to say.
Yeah, it
it's
is, it
one of
is.
those things.
Pretty good while.
I'm still thinking about my Easter bunny trap. Hey, folks, everybody out there, be safe. And if you're traveling around to go see family or go to church tomorrow, that's fine. Just do so, and so you can join us here for the at-home. It is a Saturday morning tradition.
The Restless next Saturday.
It's what we're seeing.